But you told me that as a child, among the things we spoke about which didn't have to do with the book, you said as a child you wanted to be a spy.
I wanted to be a spy. I watched Spy Kids and I wanted to be a spy. Unfortunately, I'm extremely clumsy. So my mom said, "நீ இங்க நடந்தா அங்க ஏதாவது விழும். So I don't think you're cut out for this life." Yeah. So
Is that what inspired your bumbling inspector character?
yes. I wanted somebody who was like who could give like vindication to the young, starry-eyed me.
Okay. So, but I mean, so you also wanted to be an author, but you ended up studying fashion among other things.
Yeah.
Becoming an artist and an actor.
Yeah.
So now are you coming back into the fold? Are you going to be this author and then hopefully a spy, at least on screen, if not in
Maybe
life?
my characters will be spies instead. I mean, I'm just sitting and listening to people's conversations, so that I think that's as far as I get as a spy.
Okay.
But I think eavesdropping is okay, especially considering the bill benefit of it. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And I think, I think what you've done in the book is that you have, while not kind of focusing on that, you've written around it. Like, and I'm not saying that you did it to avoid writing about it, but I think it's far more effective that way. And also in the book, I mean, what seems to be one crime, like, turns out to be something far more sinister.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your engagement with crime. Like, you do watch true crime.
I have not committed any crimes. I will make that very clear first.
You know.
Except maybe jumping one or two signals long ago, but not anymore. I do consume a lot of true crime. I'm not going to say that I'm a fan of true crime because I feel like that would be very disrespectful to the actual victims. I do consume a lot of true crime. It actually started because I read this book called The Gift of Fear. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. Every single woman has to read this book. And I read this book where Gavin de Becker, I think his name is, yes, Gavin de Becker, he's an FBI, ex-FBI guy, and he talks about how gives examples of how women were victims of crimes because they ignored that 1 second of instinct that told them something was wrong. So I actually started listening to going and checking out the crimes he had talked about. And I kind of got into true crime because of that. And I started checking out what's happening, why it happened. And it was more of a rather morbid curiosity to be like, okay, I can make sure this doesn't happen to me. This is how I do that. And then it started becoming an obsession where you go on like various forums like Reddit, and don't even go to 4chan, is the worst hell site on the planet. But you go on all these sites and you see these people talking about these victims in a certain way, and there are other people saying that I know what happened. I know this is what happened. How do you know what happened? Like, were you there? And if you were there, then you shouldn't be disclosing information. That's private business. So for me, it started with an obsession as to how do these people know what happened? At first I believed it. I thought, okay, there's somebody anonymously who was involved who's talking about it. And then the same person will be in 10 other pages saying that they know what happened. I'm like, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता? Like, what are you doing? I thought, okay, शायद police होगा, like he's some sort of policeman who's leaking information because he's like fighting for justice behind the scene. No. He's just some idiot who's free, possibly sitting on his toilet and typing away in the morning when he's got a lot of time. Like, it can't be anything else. So I started wondering, what if this actually turns into something that happens on mainstream social media sites?
Right.
Like places where incels and like people who hate women and people who hate men don't, like, congregate. Unfortunately, most social media sites have become that nowadays, so there's no escaping it. But I felt like this whole jump into true crime and this whole getting into this thing was a curiosity that was triggered by people claiming they know everything rather than the actual crime itself.
Right.
So I became morbidly curious as to how do you know, and then I started going to their profile and seeing what they're typing, and nothing matched with anything they said.
Right.
In one place, I'm a woman and I would never let this happen to me, and another page, he's a man. In another comment, he's like a trans man who's just come out to his family and he wants people to support him. I'm like, each page you are somebody else. Like, unless 20 people are using your account, that's not possible. So it kind of came from that point of view, and the whole social media debacle came from that point of view.
I mean, because you mentioned policemen, I mean, I'm really fond of your bumbling inspector guy. I mean, he's just so lost. Like, there are amateur sleuths who are doing a better job than he is, and it's kind of like, and then there's also this whole complex because he wonders whether he had it easy. I mean, he doesn't wonder. He knows he had it easy,
yeah.
because of his father-in-law being a senior officer in the police force. So tell me a little bit about this character. How did he occur to you, this Inspector Rakesh?
I'm a big fan of John English. I love it. I love John English. And I was just thinking, what if he actually wasn't accidentally suave? What if he actually messed up every step of the way?
Right.
And it actually, like, you know how he just walks coolly and just looks around and then he sees the staircase and he just walks down. And I'm just thinking, what if he just stands there wondering, should I go down the staircase, should I jump, should I go down the staircase, should I jump? Like, that is the inspiration. I was just thinking, imagine a character that just has the worst luck on the planet.
Right.
There you go.
And I have to tell you this, I mean, not giving much away, but there's this one thing where there's a leak from inside, there's an internal leak.
Yeah.
And at one point I was thinking, so this inspector decides this guy is the person who's leaking the information, and he's got one guy whom he trusts in the police force. And all through like 300 pages, I was like, is that guy whom he's trusting going to turn out to be the leak or not? You'll have to read it to find out. But 300 pages, I'm just waiting for him to get shown up,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not giving it away. You'll have to read
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But no, but just so the idea of this character and the fact that he's not like he's an inspector and everything. He's really not senior enough to have developed the paunch,
Yeah.
but he has a paunch.
Yeah.
He's like run into fat. He can barely run as fast as a woman in high heels, and so I would say this, and all your characters are flawed. Would you say there are no heroes in your novel?
Sorry.
Would you say there are no heroes in your novel?
There are no heroes, absolutely. And I'm getting, honestly, from being in the industry, I'm a little bit sick and tired of the concept of a hero. It's exhausting. Like, nobody's perfect. I'm just tired of this whole hand tightening and the veins popping. I wanted something that was extremely likely to happen. And let's be honest, everybody in real life is very, very flawed. And for me, the more flawed they are and the less openly accepting they are of their flaws, the more realistic they are. Because even if I know that I'm not good at something, I'm not going to say it in front of somebody that I don't like. I mean, I might say it in front of my friends, but I'm not going to say it in front of somebody I don't like, which is what Rakesh does. He knows how he came to be where he is, but he's never going to admit it in front of the leak guy.
Yeah.
So I just feel like him and Pooja, especially with the whole running away and refusing to accept that whatever happens is reality. I feel like that makes them more real. And a few of the insecurities do come from myself. I do feel like a lot of the insecurities, especially for Pooja with her eating and her, when she eats when she's stressed out. I eat a lot when I'm stressed out. So I feel like a lot of that comes from me. It's not me. Like I was actually telling somebody that the closest thing with Pooja is her fondness for South Indian food and the fact that she's an actress. These are the only two things that are very similar, and I could polish off like 10 masala dosas, no difficulty. But I feel like a lot of the eating stress and all of that comes from me, and I feel like that is something that I had insight with. And I also told you about the clumsiness that I have, which inspired Rakesh. Yeah.
So there is a part 2 coming.
Yeah. I hope there are many parts coming. My favorite thing in the world is to watch series, like read series of books. So I'm hoping that this is successful enough to, warrant a series or like at least a part 2. But yeah, fingers crossed it works.
Okay, so before I'm going to get you a little nervous, but before that, I think just to make you laugh and just to make them laugh, I think the first thing you told me was your experience of being trolled.
Oh yeah.
Please tell us about it, and please tell us
The
what
most
your troll
comical
said.
trolling I get when I post anything in English, there's this one uncle. I'm going to call him uncle because he keeps calling me Papa. Okay? He keeps saying, Papa English arada. This is the comment that comes under every post where I post something in English. I'm talking about a book that I wrote in English. Obviously, I will speak in English. And he's like, Papa English arada. So I put Uncle English arada uncle. Tamil arada uncle. Like every single time. English na pesuma papa. This is the biggest trolling I've had every single time I post something in English. And yes, I agree, I do know Tamil, even though I have often said that எனக்கு மேட பயம் இருக்கு ஸ்பஷ்டமா வராது, all that bullshit. He knows what I'm talking about. But I feel as if this trolling happens in the most comical way. Like this random guy on the internet. I can literally imagine, okay, this uncle or like some random guy is sitting like in church or in a temple with his family being forced to be there, and he's like, I'm angry with my wife, I'm going to type something angrily over here on this random actress or heroine or something like that. And then they go off. I'm like, the most ridiculous, I don't like your outfit.
I don't like?
Your outfit. One random comment I got. Vest is not nice. Haircut not good. Grow your hair. Uncle, sorry, I cut my hair without your permission. Like, this is the most comical trolling that I get.
But I think your Papa uncle is growing on you because today you posted in Tamil saying, come
ஆமா
to Amethyst.
பாப்பா அங்கிள் ப்ளீஸ் இங்கே இருக்கீங்களா இல்லை இல்லை ஓகே இல்லை
He might be here for all you know.
No, Papa uncle has his location in Tirupur or something. Yeah.
Maybe he has 2 phones.
Who knows? No, but yeah, this trolling thing that happens, it doesn't just happen to actors. I'm sure you've experienced it 100% just being on the internet. Any woman, even if you aren't a woman, if you just have the picture of like a random anime female character or like an actress as your profile, even a female goddess, you will get trolled.
But I think you also, I mean, like if you make choices like punishing somebody who has a lot of college girl fans in your
Oh my
script.
god. No, this thing she's talking about. When I finished Peranmai, I had just made my Facebook account because my friend Savya, is she here? She's not here. She's there. She made me make a Facebook account. That's my best friend over
So
there.
fault.
Yeah, she made me make a Facebook account, okay? And I had just finished Peranmai, I had joined Facebook, I was very happily posting about the movie, not knowing anything about the safety of the internet and all. And then suddenly the movie releases and 2-3 days later, my inbox, like the other inbox is full. Like it's like a double number, not even like single number, like 2 numbers. And I'm like opening it, how dare you make Jayam Ravi clean the toilet? How dare you be rude to my Jayam Ravi? Madam, he's not your Jayam Ravi. என்னையா இது யார் ஜெயம் ரவின்னு the amount of messages I got from these, I actually deleted my Facebook account. I got scared. And like these girls are in college, but they're older than me. And I'm like, Akka, please, sorry, Akka. தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேக்கா, please, director கேளுங்க. I ended up deleting my account. So yeah, that was trolling from women too. Yeah. Jayam Ravi fans.
So now quick fire questions for you. Please cast all your characters, okay? Inspector Rakesh.
Sethu or Siddharth.
Okay. Siddharth.
Yeah, because in he has a very pavam look that does very well for Rakesh. So yeah.
Okay. Pooja Reddy.
I had actually thought of like a young Vidya Balan, but I think Tamanna would do great.
Oh.
She's done a few roles where she does a lot of this glamorous at the same time very ordinary looking roles.
Yeah.
So I think she'll fit well in both.
Meera.
Meera, I think Aditi Balan would do really well.
Oh, I was thinking of you actually.
Mia. I can barely protect myself. So I will protect
Neither can
anybody else.
Meera. On that note, I think anyone who has more questions can buy a book, buy a second book if you've already bought a book and come.
Yeah, buy multiples. I'm okay with that. If you like the book, give it to your friends. If you don't like it, give it to your enemies. Do whatever.
Thank you again for being here.
Yes, and a very big thanks to Vesna. And I'm so glad that I found a place where I feel so comfortable and I feel like I'm at home. So very big thanks to Gautam. You've done like all the books, especially the one, the Spies one that's coming out. That's my favorite author. I love her Lady Doctor's book. I'm so excited to get that one as well. And I'm going to get all of her books now. Yeah. It's out. I'm getting a copy. Yeah. Thank you all.